Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel. Today's video, I'm going to be covering two topics. Number one, what it takes for any business to be successful, at least from what we experience in the off-road community around purchasing products, and what leads us to going back to those specific businesses for more of their products. Or the second thing I'm going to cover is why we utilize and promote RNG Performance products for all of our CFMOTO off-road vehicles. So let's jump into discussion. Number one, and I'm a huge fan of this. Before I buy products, I normally do reviews. I will search for, social media. I'll search online and look up the product and look up, any issues with the products. That's number one. So I'm always looking at reviews when it comes to buying anything, especially something expensive. So if I wanted to, per se, purchase a Under Armour plate system for my ATV, I'm going to go out and I'm going to look for a couple things. Number one, the company, are they reputable? How long have they been in business? Number two, any complaints, any negative reviews for installation? Because let's face it, installation is where most people, especially do-it-yourselfers who aren't mechanically inclined, where they struggle. So I'm going to look for any complaints there. The instructions were horrible. The support wasn't there. I couldn't find anything online. So that's the second thing that I look for. The third thing, and this is the main thing that drives, I'm going to say, any business that produces or sells products, and this is key. You can have an amazing product. You could sell a product that does 100% whatever it is you're looking for. But if that product were to break, if that product had install issues, if that product didn't have instructions, the list can go on and on. The biggest thing that drives the success of that product and the business itself is customer service. Without good customer service, you're just selling a product to the public. You're not supporting it, you're not backing it, you're not answering questions, you're not answering troubleshooting questions or any issues with the installation or the assembly. That leads to bad reviews. That leads to social media blowing up for your business. This can drive a business into the ground, not only in resources, because now you have to cater to responding to all these negative responses, whether it be social media posts, online reviews, and you have to dedicate resources to defend your product, and not only that, defend your business. Whereas if you had great customer service, you would be able to utilize those resources elsewhere, such as promoting your products, selling, promoting content, responding to customers, helping customers, everything like that. So customer service to me is massive. Now, what leads me into, and this is a larger discussion, but this revolves around why we use and why we promote RNG products. It's not just because he sponsors our clutch kits and other items for our group. When I first got into this hobby, and I'm calling it a hobby because I used to ride ATVs when I was younger. Matter of fact, one of the riders, we just joined our group. Him and I used to, tool around. We were kids. And there was probably 30 years there that I didn't ride at all. I rode motorcycles on the street, street bikes, but I didn't ride ATVs. So when I got into the ATV scene again, I was not only looking for a few things. Number one, I was looking for reputation, a reputable product. And number two, cost. I didn't want to spend $12,000, $14,000, upwards of $17,000 for an ATV. And yeah, you can buy them used, but let's face facts. Sometimes you don't know what you're getting. That could be a problem as well. You could buy a used machine and down the road, not even 2 rides, the thing turns into be a total turd. It happens. And you can buy machines used that turn into, that give you the longevity of 3-4 years, maybe 10 more years. It's hit or miss. That's with anything. But one of the main reasons was cost. So I thought to myself, do I spend $5,000 and maybe buy it? And I'm not using this to bash any manufacturer. I'm just going to use examples. Maybe a used older Outlander Can-Am, maybe an older used Polaris Sportsman, maybe a Grizzly. Well, for the $6 grand that I'm spending on that machine, I could have went out and bought a brand new machine, which was a CFMOTO. I bought my 600 Touring for $7,200. That was the MSRP in 2022. I got a brand new machine. I don't have to worry about any history. Is the engine damaged? How long is the transmission going to hold up? Was it womped on? It's brand new. Left the dealer. I know it's mine. So for a couple more $1,000, I bought a brand new machine. But before I bought that CFMOTO, I researched like crazy on the history of the company, which you can go out and look at the history of the CFMOTO company. It's been around since the late 80s, 88, 89. They blew up in Europe and Canada, and they have improved drastically. I'm talking leaps and bounds compared to when they first started. So I bought the CFMOTO based off of the reputation of the company. I also started watching a lot of YouTube videos, and I found multiple channels that not only push the CFMOTO line, but their channels were geared towards the CFMOTO line, which is what I was looking for. So I started watching videos, and I'm watching videos upon videos upon videos, and I always found myself gravitating back to RNG Performance, which at the time was Redneck Garage. Now, there are other influencers out there that promote the CFMOTO line, but usually 90% of the time, some of them are selling a product. The thing I loved about starting out watching Redneck Garage, RNG Performance's videos, was he was covering problems with the machine. Is your machine doing this? Well, I have the fix for you. Watch the video. He was not only starting to build his business as an influencer, but he was also helping the community. He was showing us how to do it yourself stuff. This is how, and it could be anything small. How to add wheel spacers, how to properly torque wheel spacers, how to, fix the cabin heat in your side-by-side, how to delete something that the manufacturer put in that you might not agree with. And let's face it, it's your machine, and we get it. If you do modify your machine, sometimes it voids warranties, but you take that risk. So I started watching all his videos, and I'm watching not only him, and at times he's womping on these machines, he's riding them, but I'm watching that they're holding up. He's able to fix these machines. He knows the products. So that led me to gravitate, to reach out to Steve over at Redneck Garage at the time, which is now RNG Performance, because he has went from an influencer selling shirts and, clutch kits out of his garage to now he's got a full, huge shop. Everything. He's got a dyno in there. He does service. He's now he has set up a studio to start doing podcasts. He's got full walk-in store where you can purchase pretty much anything for your machine, merch, you name it. He's got office. So he is completely expanded and blown up into a full-time business, which I commend. Great job there, Steve. The one thing I'm going to say is, and this revolves around my first topic, around what causes a business to thrive, is customer service. When I first started working with Steve, and I reached out to him as a nobody, a low-key influencer, which we're probably still low-key, but, it is what it is. The YouTube game is pretty strong, 2024, 2025, so the competition is massive. But anyway, I reach out to Steve, and I say, hey, I have a CForce 600 touring. I'm looking to do something different to it. He says, try this, do my primary clutch, and then eventually move your way up and do the secondary helix. Okay. So I buy the clutch kit. I did. I bought it. Install it. I'm blown away. The throttle lag was completely gone in my CForce 600, and that removes any throttle lag across any ATV with the clutch kits. But not only that, I am able to, just the way it would shift out, I'm able to hit speeds I wasn't able to hit before. It fine-tuned low gear, such as using four-wheel drive for, maybe any small hill climbing or crawling that you might do, rocks. Plus having a passenger on the back, it gave me a lot of low-end grunt, which I absolutely loved. I felt like I had more control of the machine. So I went back to Steve and said, kudos, hats off, thank you. I love the product. I'm going to do a review. I did a review. That led him and I to build a relationship. I'm sharing his content. He's sharing my content. We build a friendship, okay? Over time, I have purchased probably 2 or 3 primary clutch kits from him, amongst other things. And then one day, Steve reaches out to me, and he says, Sal, he goes, Making content can be expensive, and we know that. Anybody that's watching this, if you're an influencer, you got to understand the time it takes to put into this, the gear, the equipment, the computer, you know, that you're doing the editing on, the time away from your family and your friends and your life. So he goes, Sal, I know how hard and how expensive and time consuming it is to make content. And it seems like you enjoy the CFMOTO products. And we have since added at that time quite a few CFMOTOs to our lineup. A lot of the guys seen how mine was performing, so they trusted in the brand. They went out and they bought brand new ones of their own. Some of them bought used. And Steve said to me, I want to sponsor all the clutch kits for your CFMOTOs. I said, what? He said, I want to sponsor all the clutch kits for all your CFMOTOs that ride on your YouTube channel, that ride in your group. So I'm floored by this. He goes, send me all their models, all their years, you know, so I know, you know, what kit I'm going to send. And not only did he send primary kits, for most of the guys, he sent a couple helixes. So yes, Steve over at RNG Performance does sponsor the clutch kits for our machines. However, one thing that really blew me away, and this revolves back to customer service, was back, I think it was last year, him, RNG, and Stingray Mods were working on releasing their SRM3 Helix, which was supposed to be an absolute game changer in the Helix line. There was an SRM1, SRM2, and now the SRM3. And this is for the CVT clutches. This is the Gen 2 down clutches, not the Gen 3. They're completely different. And he started putting content out about spring binding. And the spring binding was happening not only in the SRM 1 and 2s that were being produced, but they were already in the drawing board to fix this and modify the SRM 3 to avoid this. He also noted that it was happening on stock helixes as well, which a lot of people were like, that's bull crap, you're full of crap. He was right. We had a full shop day, and if you go into our playlists, you'll see there's a video of where we install the majority of the sponsored clutch kits that Steve donated or sponsored in our machines. And that morning, it was probably 9 o'clock on a Saturday morning, I pulled a stock helix out of one of the machines, and sure enough, it was spring binding. I also pulled an SRM2 out of a machine that a guy bought used that just so happened that it had an RNG clutch kit in it. Might have been an SRM1. That was binding. So I called Steve, I FaceTimed him, and I showed him the video, and you know, we were chit-chatting, and he's like, Sally goes, I'm going to send you out X amount of helixes. They're corrected now. Send them back to me so we have them for reference. He gladly did. Within a couple days, I received the box. We put them in. No one has had any issues whatsoever. So to me, that is massive. Customer service. Hats off. He stood behind his product. He knew his product had a potential situation that he wanted to address. He could have just brushed it off and told people, oh, too bad. You bought it. You used it. That's on you. No. He actually replaced ours, and I'm pretty sure he replaced many others with a new modified product. So to me, that is 100% epic customer service. And that's why we on our group are proud to say that we run RNG Performance products in our machines, and we stand behind RNG Performance. And it's not only do we stand behind him, but he stands behind what he sells and what he promotes. That's awesome customer service. So Steve, great job. We're happy. Our guys are happy. So this leads me on to a third topic, which I only said I had two, but I do have three. Recently, we added a Gen 3 CForce 800 to our lineup. An old friend of mine reached out. He bought an ATV, wanted to ride with us, wanted to meet the guys. I welcomed him in. He's now part of our group. I reached out to Steve and I said, hey, we just added a Gen 3 CForce 800 Touring to our lineup, which if anybody watches our content, I actually got to ride his, Steve, RNG's CForce 800 Touring out at Mines and Meadows in the fall of 2024. And I was completely blown away. At the time, his machine had a clutch kit. I think he was running much larger wheels. He says it wasn't tuned, but I thought in the video he said it was tuned, so I'm not quite sure there. And I think he had like a cheapo. He said it's like a cheapo exhaust. I was blown away at the responsiveness of that machine. It was like night and day compared to my 800XC. So I told him that we added this machine. He texted me back, and we're shooting the bull back and forth. You know, sometimes that happens. Him and I might go 2 weeks, we might go a month without talking, and then all of a sudden we start talking, and it just keeps going on and on and on. And that's what friends do, right? So he's like, Sally goes, send me his address. And I'm like, why? He said, I'm going to send him out a clutch kit. I'm like, are you serious? He goes, listen, you're making content. You're putting us in every video. You know, you're promoting our brand. I'm sending him out a clutch kit. As a matter of fact, how many guys ride in your group? And I told him. And let's just say I said 15. He goes, I'm sending everybody hats. And I'm like, you know how expensive hats are. I'm sending your new guy a shirt. I'm sending him a clutch kit. I'm sending him a belt because apparently he said it's very important when you add the clutch kit. I think, Steve, correct me if I'm wrong, or the belt isn't great on the Gen 3s and he recommends another belt. So we sent him out a full belt. You gotta be kidding me. I'm like, you don't have to do this. He said, I wanna do it. I'm gonna do it because I like giving back to the community. And if you look at RNG Performance and you follow RNG Performance, not only does he give back to the community with amazing customer service, reputable products, he also does many giveaways. I mean, this guy gives away a lot of stuff. So I don't see a lot of other people doing that. And it's not that we're looking for free stuff, but that says something when this guy stands behind that product or products and is willing to put his neck on the line. I have never had an instance where he didn't respond to me or someone didn't respond to me if I reach out to them for a question, an issue, whatnot. They always get back to you. So keep that in mind. When you're shopping for a CFMOTO product, such as a clutch kit, a belt, anything, I highly recommend checking out RNG Performance because I guarantee you that even if you find that product somewhere online at a cheaper price, I guarantee you Steve's going to do everything he can to beat it. And that's not to sell that product out from under the other business. It's to gain a customer. He's that type of businessman. He's not worried about the bottom line. He's not worried about his pocket. He's worried about his reputation within the community. And that's why we're proud to say we run all of their products in our CFMOTOs. So with that being said, I'm going to crack open this box and let you guys take a look at everything that he sent out to us. All right, so here we go. The Gen 3 belt. Actually, I'm going to move this. I'm going to put it over here next to me. Shirt from my man. Look at this. That's awesome. That is absolutely awesome. Steve, thank you. Everybody will appreciate those. Hats. New air filter for the Gen 3 800 Touring. Steve actually did comment that I think the stock one has a tendency to leak. So this fixes that need, plus gives him an upgraded air filter. So Steve, thank you very much. Now, this is where I was shocked. So, here we go. All right. So not only, I thought he was sending him out a spring kit for the primary clutch, and I'm not very familiar with the Gen 3s and their clutches. I think they use the Omni Drive. I'm more educated with the CVT clutches that the Gen 2s on down use. But adding a primary clutch to your Gen 2 down, Gen 1, the prior ones, makes a world of difference. But then when you start messing with the secondary clocking and adding a helix, that's where the machine really wakes up. But you can add a primary clutch to your machine for a very fair penny. It's not going to break the bank. Now, when you add a full kit and you add that helix and maybe even a secondary spring, you're up there in, you know, I'm going to say probably $300, $400. Maybe it's a little bit less, and I apologize if I'm wrong. But the Gen 3s are more expensive, the way I understand it. So I expected just a spring kit, maybe some weights, but I was absolutely shocked with what I saw in here. So you send them some stickers. Everybody loves stickers. Instructions. This is key. So here are his weights and his primary spring, but he also sent him the helix. He also sent him the secondary spring. So my man hooked my buddy up, one of our new riders, with a full clutch kit. It's unbelievable. It's awesome. So Steve, on behalf of myself, on behalf of Slaw Dogs Off-Road Shenanigans, we thank you. We thank everybody over at RNG Performance. We thank you for sponsoring our machines. We thank you for making a great product, and Bill over at Stingray Mods as well. We thank the whole RNG business, the family there, the employees. You guys are awesome. And I promise one day we're going to be able to get out there and meet you all. We're going to do a weekend and hang out with everybody and do some riding. But listen, if you feel this video has been helpful, please give us a like, give us a share, drop us a comment. If you wouldn't mind, subscribe. Catch you in the next one.